The highlights of the night for me are the way we came back. There's so many things that happen within a game where momentum's up for grabs. And we got up 12 in the first half. We didn't close it. We didn't close the door on them. We had some turnovers. We had some home run type plays rather than coming down. And at the same time, it was simultaneous with wanting to get into the bonus. We didn't do it as quick as we would have liked, but we adjusted in the second half. The second half wasn't as much about the bonus, all right, being a factor as much as it was playing through fatigue, trying to bring fatigue to the game. And then the last 10 minutes of the game to score 25 points. Basically, I think we were 2.5 points of possession in the last 10 minutes, last 9.5 minutes, whatever it was. And to basically, I think we stopped them on 13 or 14 possessions. And to me, that's the sign of things that we've got to learn. And like I said to them after the game, the quicker you form an identity that you can carry with you, home, road, no matter who you're playing, the better off you're going to be. And it's hard to do, but the bottom line is creating an identity with the defense, with the pressure, and not only bringing fatigue to the game, but playing through it on our end and then getting good quality shots and playing with tremendous energy. And I thought that we did that. We managed minutes with guys in a good way. It was the most minutes Colin Hartman has played since he got injured. I mean, his first day of any type of contact was the last 2 days. And so he did a nice job. We can talk about individual players if you want to, but bottom line for me, or for us, is we took a team that is outstanding, number one in the country, just like we're going to, number one in their country, just like we're going to see next week with Bellarmine, number one in Division II, and it's by design to give ourselves a chance to go against those types of teams. And we'll learn from this, we'll learn from them. A lot of adjustments inside of the game. Guys had to guard different matchups constantly because of their ability to shoot the ball and because of the way they were looking for their matchups. So couldn't have asked for more. Well-coached, tremendously well-coached team, and very good players, and obviously well-tested because they're playing so many games. But proud of the way our guys played, improvement-wise in the game, and especially the last 10 minutes.
Seems like your team is more physical around the glass this year?
Well, I don't know yet. It's we got young guys, and so it may look like it tonight. I'm not sure if it's going to look like that when we match up with other teams in the non-conference. I'm not sure it's going to look like that when we play Maryland and Purdue and Michigan State and Iowa and people like that. But bottom line is we have to be. We have to play with an aggressiveness. We have to play with tremendous energy. We've got to have more guys to the glass because there were a couple of times it looked really impressive with the effort that we were showing on the offensive board, especially with Thomas, with Max, certainly with Troy, but we've got to get more from others. And that's going to have to be a huge part of it for us because we're going to take threes, and we didn't shoot great tonight by any stretch of the imagination, but most importantly, neither did they. And they were averaging 14 threes coming into the game. So there's going to be long rebounds, but there's also going to be rebounds at the rim, and we've got to be able to be a factor on both sides. So that's definitely something that I hope we're seeing improvement in that throughout the year, but this is a good start.
Zach?
You talked about it a little bit, but in some ways was this a little bit more instructive as an exhibition because I know they don't really have practice rules in Canada. They've already played a lot of games. It just seemed, I guess, sharper than maybe an American opponent there because they've got...
But they're well coached. I mean, they came out in the second half and they read the matchups. So they've got Plunkett, who going into the game, of his 66 shots, 59 of them had been threes. And we didn't want Thomas in the post because it's so much of a 4-on-1 team. And they did an excellent job of looking for the matchups. I mean, he gets it. I mean, it's fun to watch him. It's fun to watch his films. But to me, Thomas having to make those adjustments inside of the game and not overhelp, and then certain times overhelp and recover, that's invaluable for him because he's going to have to guard numerous people for us. Sometimes it'll be a postman. I mean, in this league and in this non-conference schedule, you're going to see a lot of multi-dimensional forwards that he'll have to face. He's one of them. So that to me was good. They knew exactly what they wanted. They passed the ball. I wasn't exaggerating with the way that they passed. We just wanted to pressure the passes. There's no question that we got spread out a little bit too much and had too much help, but I liked our recovery. And I think the fact that they missed some open shots, I'm not sure how he feels, but they missed some open shots in the second half, and I think fatigue might have had something to do with that. But at the same time, we challenged shots. We didn't give a lot of open shots in a spacing game like that. So really, really happy that we chose to play them. And we would play them again. We'd like to play Carleton at some point. I mean, those teams are really, for those of you that went over last summer, you know exactly what I'm saying. And I was reading a stat where Carleton and Ottawa played last year, and they played in front of 12,500 people where the Ottawa Senators play NHL hockey. I mean, they're used to doing some things, so it was great to have a team like that to face tonight.
Jeff?
What led Max to make it into the starting lineup, and do you envision that moving forward?
I told the team before the game, and it's the truth. We don't have a starting lineup. Nobody's unseated Yogi from that position, but we don't really have a starting lineup right now. I mean, we've got tremendous competition in the guard spots, and we're going to have it on the forwards, but all the forwards are going to have to play. And there's going to be nights it's going to be very matchup oriented, and predictions on lineups will just be that, predictions. So we'll do different things. I wasn't displeased with that lineup at all. It was the starting lineup was our number one plus minus lineup of the night. So we'll see down the road. If that's the starting lineup next week, it'd be a shock to me. I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I'm not saying it would. I mean, that's really irrelevant right now. Combinations are relevant. Who plays well with who is relevant. Who finishes is extremely relevant. You know, that to me is going to be key.
Mike?
You mentioned, checking on who plays well with who. I mean, do you feel like you're closer just playing positionless basketball at this point, or getting to that point where you guys can just go with?
Well, if Thomas can get out and guard the way that he did, and there may have to be a lot of improvement there, because Plunkett really was behind, number 9 was behind the three-point line most of the night. But, and we gave up too much ground there, but that'll be something for him to learn. We moved it around. I was really proud of Thomas when we came out of timeouts and we moved him around on purpose. So he was literally playing spots on the court that he's not played in practice, because it's a great time to do that and see how he adjusts to that. And last year we weren't a great after timeout team on new things, okay? We were pretty good after timeout team on stuff we did, but we weren't as good of a team of coming out on things that we saw inside of the game, and we wanted to do some of that tonight, and he adjusted to that well. So that's all part of playing positionless basketball to me. But it really, that part of it, they could all shoot, and they're getting better with their handle, though at times it didn't look like that tonight. We still misread traps. We misread when it was time to split, when it was time to take on the trapper, take on the forward. We missed some simple passes, but I get that. But if we can get to a point where we can guard different positions, then that really leads you to another place offensively, and I hope we can get there.
Zach, you had a follow-up?
I guess to follow up with both those questions, sort of, I know it's just one game, but how do you feel like guys adjusted to that, to having the size inside? I know James talked about he felt like rebounding was easier for the guards because of that size, but I guess, again, I know it's just one game, but what do you feel like were some of the pros and cons of guys maybe adjusting to suddenly playing with more of that size inside?
I'll have to watch the film, but I don't think we graded out high in the backcourt guys to get into the offensive glass. We're trying to do a couple different things with that this year to utilize our athleticism. Because when you play a smaller lineup, Troy has no choice. He's got to be on the glass. It's one of his strengths. And we've got to get more rebounds, not just long rebounds, but we've got to get more tough rebounds inside the paint, inside the arc, from our guards, based on where they're at the time. Because when it comes to positionless, once the ball gets down the court, we really don't have what you would call a point guard. The point guard, to me, is the one that throws the ball ahead the best on the break, okay, after made baskets. And other than that, it's really moving and it's free flowing, with the exception of when we want to match up. But there was an aggressiveness from Thomas, from Troy, from Max to a degree, from Yogi, that has got Colin to a degree, but he was a little rusty. That was one of the biggest things he did to get on the court last year, was his offensive rebounding. If we can get ourselves to a point where we get very, very aggressive, no matter who's on the floor, when it comes to getting to the offensive glass or being back, staying out of no man's land, we'll get better. You got a second part?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What all changed for you guys going into the second half, especially in terms of just limiting?
Say that first part again.
What all changed for you guys just going into the second half, especially in terms of limiting turnovers?
Oh, I think we were very conscious of it, and And we were very, very conscious after our first half of getting up 12 and not taking advantage of the situation. That's really big for us right now because that's, we want our foundation to be really strong. And being able to play with a lead, just like being it's an art to both, right? And it all comes in the sense of, all right, how well are we taking care of the ball? We don't want to play slow, but we don't want to make home run type plays. We don't want to make plays that aren't there. We want to make simple plays. And at the same time, we want to get that ball inside to the post so that we can play inside out. I think we did a better job of that, but frankly, I was better defense. So better defense, longer periods of time, led to easier baskets for us.
Okay, Coach. Last
Yes.
question.
You mentioned combinations. What do you like about the way Max and Thomas kind of combine?
I'll have to watch the film. I think the plus minus showed good. I think they've spent some time in practice together, but a lot of times they're battling each other. So that'll play out over a period of time. But the numbers look good, and I'll see if the film backs it up. I thought they were comfortable with each other. It's going to be really, really important for Max to be a true quarterback. He doesn't have to be the babysitter or the big brother of the young guys, right? But he does have to be the quarterback, and because he's very smart, he's changing his role, and he can do things. He had 14 deflections tonight. Now he might tell you in there that he's done that before, but I'd like to see visual proof of that. Okay, but 14 deflections is pretty impressive for them. So those kind of things, if you get that kind of activity from Max and from Thomas, that's going to be good for us.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Coach.
you.